Hey guys, Zen here, and today we're actually getting our first look at Year 5 Season 3 for Rainbow Six Siege. Ubisoft dropped a brand new trailer showing off a new attacking operator and the official name for the next season, and it's being called Operation Shadow Legacy. Today, we're poring over the trailer and getting into some details about the next operation that have been revealed, and so guys, let's jump into this.
You should know better than to write me off. Consider this a teaching moment.
So Operation Shadow Legacy's brand new attacker is none other than the iconic Sam Fisher. For those of you new to the series, Sam Fisher is the main character of the Splinter Cell games, and arguably can kind of be considered the franchise that put the Tom Clancy's games into the mainstream. He'll join Team Rainbow with the operator name of Zero, instead of the classic name of Sam or Fisher, and I suppose it's to better fit within the Siege universe. Otherwise, this is the tried and true Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell. Now, there are a few things we gather from this initial showing. First off, this is without a doubt an Intel-based operator. One of the most standout features of Sam Fisher is his green-eyed night vision goggles. They've been a part of his look since the very beginning, and at least here, he's not wearing them. Instead, it looks like Ubisoft have incorporated them onto his gadget on the front of it, which looks like it actually fires these things like a gun, and kind of similar to Nomad, it looks like there's a laser that'll spot where he's aiming them. Now, obviously, one key element is the night vision, but we don't really have too many dark mechanics in the game, and the game has basically rid itself of all nighttime-based maps, and so I doubt night vision will actually play a role here. If anything, it is possible that if you're looking through this gadget that you get some kind of highlighted effect on enemies, which could make it easier to spot them, but based on what we get in this trailer, we don't really see any of that. To me, the green lights signal three uses of the gadget, and it's been rumored that Zero will be able to use his gadget like Valkyrie uses her cameras, and this has been a very long-standing rumor, and so if he does, then we're most likely finally getting the attacking version of Valkyrie. Now, Valkyrie is easily one of the best intel operators in Rainbow Six Siege. Her cameras give a ton of intel to the defenders from basically every angle. Inside the map, outside of the map, wherever she can get one, you will gain some kind of advantage over the attackers, and the one real counter to this is Dokkaebi, by hacking the cams and gaining access to the feed. But the cams are always placed by Valk, a defender, and so making good use of them as an attacker can be tough, but now with Zero, the tables have turned. Intel is just so core to what attacking is all about. It's basically everything for them, and because of that, I believe additional cameras for the attackers will actually go a long way, even more so than the defenders. And so my assumption here is that Zero will instantly become one of the most important, most picked, and most powerful attackers in Rainbow Six Siege once he's introduced. Now, that's really all we get with this first look, but it isn't everything we know about Operation Shadow Legacy. Firstly, I think the name is perfect and makes a lot of sense because many legacy assets are returning here with this season. Obviously, we're seeing the return of Sam Fisher, one of Ubisoft's oldest legacy operatives, but we're also seeing the rework to Skyscraper this season, which is a map I'm really keen on because since it's been removed, there have been some operators added that I think will fundamentally change the way it's approached, particularly with Amaru. And then for those of us just joining, probably the most anticipated update all year will be taking place this season with the Tachanka rework, which is just going to be legendary. Now, on the other hand, it should be noted that this season will be the first of its kind for Rainbow Six Siege, and that this is the first time that only one new operator is being added in a season. And yes, even though Lord Chanka will feel brand new, he is still Tachanka, and they are keeping the essence of him true to the character today, and so things will really never be the same again as far as the rollout of new content. Season 4 will also follow suit with just one new operator, and it's been rumored that Castle will see his rework in the following season, and so moving forward, there will be that change. Personally, I think it's a good thing, mainly because I think it gives the devs more opportunity to go in and make improvements to parts of the game that need it, instead of focusing all the attention on balancing two brand new operators, but it is a major adjustment that'll change what's been essentially baked in for over 5 years here. Now, additionally, a blog post did come as a pair with this big new announcement, and there are a few more details on what we're presented with, and it's written from the perspective of Finka. She starts by saying, "Harry, you would think it is hard for me to evaluate someone held in such high esteem. The figure of Sam Fisher has always been wrapped in mystery. Looking at his impressive resume, or what's been made available to us, it's not difficult to see why you've chosen Specialist Sam Zero Fisher." She goes on to talk about Zero and even details a new military military group called the Rainbow Operational Staff, or ROS. He seems to have kept in good shape despite being off active duty, though he has seemed a little more frazzled than usual when he arrived. I wonder why has Zero been using Rainbow as his home base? He wouldn't be here without his own motivations, and we should take advantage of his experience. His military expertise will be a good balance to our psychological insight. As he's coming in as the first member of the Rainbow Operational Staff, ROS, I'm curious and cautious of the changes he'll bring to our organization. I'm sure his instruction will be a necessary and painful experience. I imagine there's something he's not telling me regarding his sudden appearance, but that's not surprising. Zero operates on a need-to-know basis. I'm sure he'll tell me when he thinks I need to know. I am pleased I was able to examine the functionality of his surveillance equipment. It's not too often Zero allows others to play with his toys, and it was a learning experience. There is a flexibility of movement and behavior that can be used on the offensive, as well as preparation for the defensive that is well suited to his inclination to take advantage of any situation. Now, the last bit is the fact that he knew her father and that he's aged well over time. So Finka does kind of point out that the cameras will be equipped with movement, most likely referring to the fact that you can rotate them like black eye cams, for instance, and that it'll be functional to all the attackers as well. She also points out that defense will be aware of it in some way as well. Exactly how is of course unknown, but again, my assumption is that as you're aiming for a spot to fire one of these cams, that a laser will show where you're targeting. Now guys, defense doesn't have a Dokkaebi. Mozzie is really the only defensive hacker and he deals with drones. It could be possible that a pest also works on these cams, but as of now, outside of destruction, there really is no counter once they're placed. Altogether, I cannot wait to get my hands on Season 3, and especially the new attacking operator Sam Fisher, aka Zero. Also, I'm really enjoying this change of pace for the attackers that's really building them up with very strong operators right out of the gate here. Ace has been amazing, and Zero sounds like an intel-based threat to the defenders, and so it may not be too long that the Rainbow Six Siege defender favorite argument lives on. Now, the last bit here is a few of the most important questions I've heard. The first is, why Zero? Well, if we go by the blog with Finka, I think it refers to the fact that Team Rainbow doesn't really have any information on why he's there. It's pretty clear that he's got a shroud of mystery behind him, and that his true motives for being there haven't really been revealed. It could also be related to the Rainbow Operational Staff Group, or ROS. He could be Operator Zero, or one of the earliest recruits, possibly even the founder, and because of that, it just works for his new home base. Now, the more obvious question is, does this point to another Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell game? And honestly, I kind of think it might. For those of you who don't know, this is a totally new look for Sam Fisher, and it's also his oldest appearance yet, and so Ubisoft could be busy with a reboot that tells a darker, more mature story for him. Rainbow Six Siege is by far one of their most popular titles, and now that Zero is a part of it, every hardcore Splinter Cell fan is going to be looking over this to see if there's any chance of a new title, and will probably expect him to look very close to how he's featured here in Rainbow Six Siege. But that's the reveal, guys, and we'll do it for the video. Everything Operation Shadow Legacy will be revealed on August 16th, and is when we'll learn more about Skyscraper, Tachanka, and Zero. And so subscribe with post notifications to get my new videos as soon as they're ready. And thank you for watching. It's been Zen. Hey, I'm out.
You should know better than to write me off. Consider this a teaching moment.